This week I'm featuring two versions of the reissued classic Rogers Dyna-Sonic snare drum. I have both the 5x14 and a 6.5x14. They each feature a 5-ply shell that's a mix of maple and poplar. They have re-rings. They have a really nice Class C, what they call fruitwood stained interior. Let me grab it. You can see the inside there. Really nice and classy. This is a really well-made drum. 10 lugs. They have the beaver tail lug casings. They're really the classic script badge, and really nice internal dampener. Well, really what makes it a Dyna-Sonic is this rail mount system that controls the wires. So how that works is the wires are mounted on this rail. So when you turn off the throw off, it lowers all the wires down independently, like perfectly parallel with the bottom head. And then there's this tension screw here that you use to actually put tension on the wires. So what's the theory? The theory is you can get a nice tight, crisp snare sound without having to really pull the wires against the bottom head and choke it out. So you can raise this up to where it just comes in contact with the bottom head, and then you can adjust the tightness of the wires with this screw. Now, in my experience with these two drums, really good at a crisp, focused, almost choked kind of sound. That sound you get when you tension the wires like too far and it starts to give you that compressed sound that can be kind of cool. So you can get that without having to choke the bottom head. And that's really what it does the best. It doesn't really do the loose, rattly, kind of trashy thing very well. So be forewarned, these drums are made to be crisp and articulate. If you want that real kind of loose and rattly sound, I can't get them to do that. But what they do great. So let's take a listen to the 5x14 first. We're gonna go super high, and then I think I take it pretty much as low as I can go, and then just bring it kind of back up and experiment. I end up keeping this drum tuned medium high. And then with that internal muffler, I just have it just barely even touching the head. Maybe not even making full contact with the head, just kind of like tickling the head. So here's the 5x14 Dyna-Sonic. As you can hear, there's a lot of crack and there's a lot of punch to this drum. It's really warm sounding. I really like it tuned high, down to medium. Once I get below that, it can be cool, but it's not the drum I would go to for that. This is more, for me, more of a crisp crack, like classic wood snare drum sound. Let's move over to the 6.5x14. Here's this big guy. It has a red onyx wrap, the one that I have. Everything else is the same, 10 lugs, beaver tail lugs. Oh, I put a G2 coated on this one, and the other one has a G1. So I'm going for a fatter sound out of the 6.5 naturally. I think I start this one kind of medium-ish, and then I take it up really high, and then take it really far down, and then kind of come back somewhere in the middle where I think it sounds best. But this is definitely a punchier sounding drum, a fatter sounding drum, as you'd expect. But it still does the really high, cracky thing really nice too. So let's take a listen to the 6.5x14 Rogers Dyna-Sonic. So that's the reissued Rogers Dyna-Sonic. I know they have some brass versions and some other variations of this. If you're in the market for something cool, just be forewarned that that rail system can be a little tricky to kind of figure out, and not something that on a gig that I would want to be scrambling, like let me quickly try to adjust it. You kind of got to get it set where you like it or where it responds best and leave it. But it is a great drum. It's a great option if you're someone who really gets bothered by sympathetic snare buzz, because you can put a fair amount of tension on the wires and then not have to pull them really tight against the bottom head, and it won't choke out, but you'll get that real kind of focused, controlled sound. And it's just a really fun drum, and it's just cool looking. So that's it, Rogers Dyna-Sonic.